morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. This is the daily webinar I'm doing for my group, but because I haven't done the weekly outlook, I will be giving it to the general public in YouTube. So if you like it, share it. This is what I do for my group on a daily basis. Right? My apologies for not doing the weekly ones because I was really busy over the weekend with my family. And I think that's the priority, right? I would try to give you an update on this webinar since this is more or less short-term views by Wednesday. So you would get the Monday one and you will get the Wednesday one. And I hope that helps you. If you like it and you would like to have it daily, send me a message on Skype. My Skype is in the description. You have my Skype there. Just click on it. It will allow you to connect to me to Skype, and you can send a message that you would like to have the daily webinars. I would give you the conditions under which you can get it, right? So let's go. Let's start. Once again, good morning to everybody. And let's start. We're looking at the dollar index, and we've been looking for the dollar index to give us clues of whether this is the impulse to the upside, which means on a daily basis. If you're seeing this for the very first time, go back and look at some of my other webinars where I did the daily where I did the outlook on the daily charts, giving you the bigger picture of it, is that whether this is going to go back here or whether we will come here and then go there. Those are the two options we have. We either come tag the low and then go, or whether we're going right now, but we will get back to the top, right? Because this is a flat pattern. We've seen that and we know that's how they behave. So in the 4 hour, we're still in a correction. As far as we're concerned, we're still in a correction. We can't prove that this is the one going up. But every buy setup we get will take. This was a buy setup here, if you remember. And now on the 1 hour, you should have got out of that buy setup. Maybe earlier, you should have got out somewhere here. Whether you got back in that one means you either got a very small profit or break even, and I hope you took break even. And now we're making a bigger correction. So this is a small correction within this impulse. This was the big correction. And we're making another correction there. I would say correction because I can't say that that is an impulse to the downside as yet. You can see that it's looking more like a correction here. Now we have seen moves start like that. They tend to do this and then they do this for a while and then they make a flat and then they drop. Now what happens is in a very lower degree, that's a leading diagonal to the downside. And then it drops. That's one option. The second option is just a simple correction that is expanding as it goes along, right? In the WXYXZ pattern. Well, that's how we label it, in the more bigger flats, expanding the flats as you go, with either an expanding flat in the middle or a number of expanding flats as you go. The differentiation between those two structures, which is the leading diagonal for the downside and which is the correction, you can't tell while it's happening. The internal structure is the same, but you can tell the end results by looking at what happens at the end of it. If the end is a flat, we sell. If the end is a sharp move up, we buy. Right, so when this pattern is ended, it will either do this, it will come here and do a sharp move up here with a flag, and then you buy, or it is going to come here and make a flat, and then we sell. So this week we will get one out of those two options, and then we will look for the trade. So I think right now we will stay in this pattern for a while more. If you look at a 15, you can see that this is kind of making a flat here. A running flat. I don't think this is a flat for downside because this doesn't qualify for the leading diagonals yet. We don't have enough waves in it to do that, right? We can't say that it is, but this might just become a bigger correction. So I think this might just go back a little or even come from here and then start to go back up. On the break of this top, what I want is a flag. 1 second, guys. I'm losing my voice already. This is too early for that. Give me a minute, please. A second. Okay, sorry about that. That normally happens at the end of the week. It's too early, right? So what you can do, I don't think you should do this because these are going to be very short-term trade. You could see this come here. I'm not really keen on that sell. I'm looking for the upside. So if you give me a move back and I get a flag here, we will buy. Anywhere on the upside, if we get a flag, we'll buy. If this breaks out right here, I'm not buying it as yet until I get a flag because this could break, make a flat pattern and drop. You don't want to be tagged at the top here and then watch it drop back to the low. Right, that's the last thing you want to happen to you. Not that you can't manage your way out, but you don't want that to happen to you. So Preferable for us is if they drop here and then start to go back up. What happens if they drop here and instead of going back up, they start to do something like this? Well, yes, that is what I'm talking about. Then you go big time sell, because that would be big time downside. This would be some kind of a leading diagonal for downside. I don't think we're doing that as yet. We'll keep an eye on it. Most likely, I think it's a correction for upside. One out of the two we'll keep an eye on. So this is what we do. We look at precision patterns. We look at patterns and we see how they develop. And then we said, okay, this is next stage in this pattern. And this is what we think it's going to do next. And then we wait for all the setups in it to line up. And then we said, okay, here you have a chance of getting into a trade. This is your strategy, how we're going to trade it. And this is what we do. What I'm giving you now is just a general view of the direction I think is going to go. What we would do for the next couple hours or for the entire day in the trading room, which we are in right now, and we have traders in here right now in the trading room. It's just after this webinar, we will look at more details. We would see how we will put a trade onto this, what will be the strategy to trade it, and how we'll manage that trade. So even if we get in the trade during the day, that might change. We will manage the trade and say, you know what, let's exit this trade because it's going to change its view. This is what it's going to do. And we do that pretty often in the trading room. We get into the trade because it's going very nice. And if the trade is correct, it's going to go. There's a rule in our room. The good trades will take care of themselves. We take care of the bad trades. By the way, that's a saying from me. I don't like to quote myself, but that's a saying from me, right? The good trades will take care of themselves. What that means, if you put an entry order here and this is a good trade, it's going to do that. You don't have to worry about it. If the trade is going to do what you think it's going to do, it will take care of itself. So you will make enough profit. You don't even have to manage it. The bad trade is if it tags you here and it doesn't go and it starts to do this. Well, now you've got to manage a trade because the trade is not doing what you expect it to do and it's likely not going to do what you expect it to do, which means you got tagged in a trade not correct. The trade, what you're expecting from that trade is not what it's doing. You got the analysis wrong. Something is wrong about it. Maybe that's all it does. It tagged it up and come down back. Actually, it is supposed to break out. It broke out, but it's not going to your target. It just stops short of going to the target and starts coming down. Which is correct. This pattern could break out. We know that. But we don't know how far it's going to go when it breaks out. So if it's a good trade, it will go far enough for you to make profit. If it's a bad trade, it's going back. You have to manage the trade and get the hell out of it. And that's our rule. Now, that is something you can only get if you're part of our team and in the trading room with us on a daily basis. 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day we're in that trading room. This is the first one for the Asian session. Normally, we have one before this, but that happens during the week, not on Monday. Monday's a very slow day, so keep it. Maybe I'm not too interested in the downside, but there's a small trade to the downside that's probably forming right now. Gold worked like magic last week. If you were following me on the break to the upside, watch it when it comes there. Downside, watch this to the upside, break even. If you took that trade, you took a very small profit of break even. And now what? Now we have this one. So what is happening right now, if you relook at this from a bigger picture, is what is happening right now is you're making a bigger consolidation. Let's take off all the smaller pieces. Those are smaller ones. And if you take all of this out, what you have is a bigger consolidation going on here. So remember what I said last week. We were looking at this as a possible running flat. And that's a perfect setup for running flat. When you have one and you have 1, 2, 3, you have seen many of those running flats. I've shown you. What happens after that is this goes like that. So we would expect that to happen, and we were looking for the buys, and we even got in the buy setup. Some of my traders got in the buy setup here. Well, that didn't go. We got out of the trade and this is one of the examples where when it doesn't go, you get the hell out of the trade for positive without losing a single cent. You were wrong and you didn't lose anything. We actually made some small trades in here. And now it's doing this. If you look at it, this is what you have. So we have an impulse and we have some kind of a weird correction going on here. I think this is going to come back here. And I believe it might even break out of the top, but it's not going to break this top. I think what we're making is a bigger corrective structure here. We'll probably drop here. And now this part will be part of this correction. So where do we put this? Well, this will probably either go as a much lower degree correction, not standalone. Either we look at this or we look at something in here. That might be one piece of its own, and this would still go up. Because I'm not seeing a down structure as yet. I don't see a structure. If we had broken this top here, I'd probably be looking for the downside. Now, in very rare cases, you might get a downside. That is, if when this move break, it tags the top and we know this is going to go down. The first move would be down. We can look for a sell setup here. That might be in the New York session. When it breaks this low, we'll move into profit because it can go back up or they might just continue to go down. Now it's rare that they're going to continue to go down, and I'm not going to go to deal with that because this becomes the bigger correction. And if that is the bigger correction, we're likely going to go up. There's a 90% chance of you going up rather than continue to go down. Now, there's a reason for that. Like I said, we need a wave analysis to start to understand how the structure is and the waves. Now, what is it doing here? Let's forget about that little piece and the little trade we'll get to. What is the bigger picture? What is it doing right here? What it is doing right here now is making a bigger correction, not an up move. Because even if they do this and you make a big correction, you come here, you go back up, we might barely break that top. And this would become a big correction for downside. Right? If all of this happens, this whole thing becomes more or less a big correction for downside rather than the sharp move to the upside. Look at this piece here. See how sharp this was? A small running flat there. By the way, you see how running flats behave. They come here and they go straight up. Right? That's how running flats behave. So you see that and you said, well, this didn't go because this belonged to the past one, right? But we've got a lot of correction. This is looking more of a corrective structure rather than an impulse to the upside, because the impulse to the upside would be this running flat here. You take off like that, make another one, go, make another one, go. When they're consolidating so much in this at the lower level, you're expecting them to drop at least once more. At least one more drop, and then we'll see what happens. It doesn't look like they're going to take off right now. In rare cases, if they're going to take off, when we get this sell and we break the low, we expect one more up. So we will try to get a buy set up here, and we are expecting it to only break that top and turn. But if it breaks the top and continues to go, guess what? We are already in the buy. So first there's a sell setup, then there's a buy setup. Both of them will be short-term trades unless we got lucky. And the up one is a long-term trade. So right now, do you want to trade in that? If you don't have the skill level, you probably stay off. I can see this probably going a little more. Maybe breaking this top, then we'll get a drop. Then we should get the upside, break this top, and then we should get a drop. So there's a number of moves that might happen here. Let's see whether, if that doesn't happen and something else happened, it changes the structure or so. We'll relook at it. We'll relook at the pattern. We'll see what pattern we have, and then we'll decide what's the next move in it. It's always a case of these patterns could change because we are making forecasts based on what we have. Like I made a forecast on the upside based on this. Running flat, and this should go up. That is how you would always make that forecast every time you see that pattern. And when it does this, then you relook at it and say, okay, wait a second. It didn't go up, so it's not making a running flat. Then we're making something else here. And then we might make a much bigger pattern in play. This might even come up in the future somewhere here. And all of that would be a bigger running flat like this. Go to the top and then come down. But that is too complex for you right now. Don't worry about that. We have a lot of those patterns. I'll show you them as they develop. By Wednesday, you will see whether that's an option. If you're not sure about what to do with it, don't trade it. Trade a simpler one, that is silver. Trade something that is simple that you understand. So silver is very easy. It came down, it broke up. We expect this to go. You're making a correction here. This is much easier. You expect that correction to go up. Now, again, I don't think that is the one that will take off. Because I think last week I already explained that I think we might make a correction here, one more down, and then go. And the reason for that is because this down move is too short for the daily correction, right? I think this one is too short to make this the running flat. And we're looking for a running flat here. So what I think would happen is that you'd get a correction here, maybe even a little out of the channel. Don't worry with that line. That line is irrelevant. That is just to show me the pattern. It might even go a little out of the line, and then it's going to come down here like this, right? You might get something like this, come down here, and then we can see this go up because this would be enough to go for a running flat. Now, how low that goes, I don't know. They could come all the way back to the bottom here and then go. I don't know how low it's going to come, but I'm looking at this as a bigger running flat for one more up, at least one more up. I don't think it's going to go forever, but that if it goes, great, but at least one more up. Now, that one more up would only happen if it is dollar-based and the dollar drops. So the dollar might eventually go break the low. This might be the clue to the fact that the dollar, because these are known patterns. You break that top, you're not going down totally. This wasn't the last impulse. So there's a very high probability of this doing this, breaking the top, and then starting a downside. So for us to get that last move up, and if it is dollar-based, the dollar has to make a final move down before it goes up. And that is why we're not confirming upside for the dollar as yet until we see that it's definitely going up. these little moves might still drop. It could still drop, break the low, and then go. And there's a number of them that has this pattern in play. So this is a corrective structure. As far as I'm concerned, there's a 95% chance it's a corrective structure because this broke the top and you're going to do this and then go back up and then come down. So we're looking for a sell in the bigger picture. Right now, the most immediate trade is a buy. The buy here would not be a big move. It might just be, it depends on how far this works its way down. If it comes all the way to this low, I would not be even buying it. I would let it go here and then sell it because that would be a running flat. If they stop short of it and they come here, we might get a buy to the top there and then we get the sell. So I would let this do what it's doing right now. It's going down. Just let it go down. Let it work its way down. And then we're looking for the buy. That's the short term today's trade if we get it. Okay, let me move all this pound trade down back. I was focusing on these pound trades last week. So I got all three of them at the top there. That was on Friday. So let's move them down back and put them here. Okay, let's go. Euro. Euro has a similar pattern that we were talking about on the dollar index. And the same thing on the daily, whether we're going to go back to the top there, break that top, or whether this is the start of the downside. Now, again, you can't confirm that as it. It doesn't matter that it's coming so deep. I've shown you last week some very deep corrections in the down move, this up move. See that big, deep direct correction there? We're pretty much doing one of that. So it's still possible we could go up. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's see in the 4 hour what it looks like. Do we have any divergence? Yes, we have some divergence here between the last two. And that's a good sign that maybe your momentum is dying out and you could go back up. So in the 1 hour, if you see, and we do have some 1 hour divergence here also forming in the very last two pieces. But this still looks like you can get one more down. Right now, it's a buy. Actually, it's a good buy setup here forming right now. It might be worth taking. It could be short term, but it might be worth taking just in case. I don't know how deep that is going to go. This is a running flat. We've got a running flat here. Got a 1, 2, 3. Then you're getting a correction down. I think we're going to come down a little more here, just a little more here. Tag this low again because there's another running flat in here. After which this should likely go up. So there's a buy setup forming here you don't want to miss. I don't know how deep it's going to go. And if this is the start of the reversal to the upside, you better buy it, get into that one, right? That would be a good buy. So looking at this pattern, what you want to see this running flat, this is how running flats behave. You get a sharp one here, you get a sharp one here, you get all the corrections in the middle, and then you break the top, which gold didn't do, right? Very similar, but the gold didn't break the top. So that changes the pattern, not the structure. So what you have is a sharp one here and a sharp one here. You want this to come here again. I don't know whether it will go, but we want it to come there, and then we want this to go back up there. So we will get this straight to the upside. See? If this goes out of here, now I'm not buying it yet because I'm not convinced we're going up. This can't be all the correction. So let's see if we get this to come down. I'm not interested in the downside. Let it come here. Break this low. Go back up. I'm interested in the buy. I'm absolutely interested in the buy. I'm not interested in this sell because we're still in the correction zone, and I don't think that is going down totally. Pound. So what is pound doing right now? It made a sharp move up from last Friday. There were some small buy setup, turned out to be break even. You wouldn't have got a good trade in it if you tried to. Now it's giving us the clue. Remember what I said, if this is going to continue to go up, you want a correction in it. If you get a correction in it, that would be a clue that you're totally going up, right? So we're getting a corrective structure right now. This is very much correction. It's on the 1 hour, and it's I take this off because we're getting the big correction. So remember last week I said, if this is going to go down, you can put an entry for a sell here. If they drop, you'll get a good trade. If they don't drop, you don't have to worry about it. It's not your problem. Because if you try to buy here, you got break even on these two. If you didn't take break even there, you're risking your account because any one of those two could have dropped. So if you didn't take break even, the next time you will learn a lesson. But if you didn't take break even now, you better take it now. If you didn't take it then, you better take it now because you don't know how low this is going to work itself if it does. You don't know that. That's an unknown factor. What we are saying is if this proves that this is a correction for upside, if they prove that this is just making a correction from, then we have a buy. We also don't know how high this buy will go Because if you look at the bigger structure, look at this one. Look at this. Remember this was a buy, and remember this was a buy. They didn't go very far. But once we got this, we knew we were going to get one more up and downside, so we focused on the sells. We didn't focus on buying into this one because you know it's a flat. Now this is the first one up. What if we just do this and then come down back like this? See this piece here? Come down back like that. You might even get a sell there short term, and then you get another one up and then they drop. See, it's not impossible to make to see how these patterns could prevent because they have an exact one like that at the top there. You have an exact move. This move is almost repeating what this did. So we get a buy. This is a buy setup. It's a short-term trade today because you can't prove. But if you're lucky, it does this. If you're lucky, they can do that. And good for you if they did that. But most times you're not lucky, and luck is not a strategy. You have, so when we take this trade, we'll manage it as it comes to the trend line. Not because there's anything happening in the trend line, because if it stays within the trend line, we're looking for the same structure to the downside. If it breaks it slightly, we're looking for the same structure to the downside. It has to break it and consolidate above it before it changes, or it has to break it and take off like a rocket before that changes the pattern we're looking at. So what are the two patterns we're looking for? Well, one is I've told you about that one before, and you've come to learn it if you follow me for a while, that this here is a corrective structure and we're going to get that. Well, we are getting it. Either they do this now when they come here, they make a flat and then do one more low, which means it's not going to happen today because you know there's a small flat like this forming here right now. They do this and they come here and we can go up. So if this becomes a flat, we could come make a new low and still go up. Can they go up from this one? Well, if they go up from there, we're just going to assume that that is all for the running flat like this. It's not, it could work. It's smaller than this one, but it's okay. They don't have to be equal. What is this? Let's take that. They don't have to be equal in size, right? There's no rule. We're trying to get it to be equal, but they don't have to be. It could be that we're totally going down as well. And this belongs to something in the past here, which is either this one or all together, right? Those two options are open. So which one? Up or down? Well, by the end of this week, we'll know. Because by the end of this week, this piece will finish what it's doing. And it either has to take off to the upside or continue to go down. And if it continues to go down, we'll assume, you know what, we're totally going down. So the trade for today, and it's just a short-term trade. This was a trade, and this was a trade, and this was a trade. So don't worry with all those trades. You probably didn't see them. And this is a trade. Now, this trade might just break this top and decide to go back down. So you would have to have the skill level to manage your way out of that trade if it doesn't go. But it's a buy setup and you must take it. It's a buy setup we're looking for. It's coming down, but it's a buy setup. You're consolidating there. This is coming down. This is a 15-minute trade. You shouldn't take it because it might just stop at the bottom here and go back up. I don't think it's going to fall totally. I don't see that possibility. If it starts to fall, then it will have to fall through this pattern, straight through the pattern, make a correction here that is big enough for me to sell. It's rare, it's possible, but it's rare because this is looking very corrective. But you've got cases where they started very corrective, this drops through the pattern, make a deeper correction here, and if this happens today, we'll be selling. We'll sell it back to the low because that might be the first one, the second one, and we still go up for the third one, right? But the way this is looking, I think there's one more up first. Let's see. Aussie. Sorry, guys. Yep. Aussie, last week we were looking at whether this is making a running flat, whether all of this would make a running flat. And if it was a running flat, you can put this entry order here, they'll drop straight through it. You don't have to worry about it. Well, it never got there. And if you notice, I have one at the top here. Well, how did I get that one at the top there? Because by the time you got the webinar and by the evening, we had this. So we said, okay, we can buy it. We buy it, it goes, it come back, it goes there. You know what? You got to put it to break even. Let that be a break even trade because now you have a channel for downside. So let's look at the bigger picture. What is it telling us? We have one, we have two, we have three. Can this go up now? It can absolutely go. We have divergence between the two. So this could go up if it wants, right? So this piece is telling us is either a running flat and they're going to go like this, or it's making a channel and they're going to come back down here maybe like this, make a flat here. If that comes back here, we make a flat. We're going to go more down. right? If it comes and make a flat, we're going more down. But if they break out, if this is a running flat and they break out of the top here, then we're likely coming back to this top. Can we go out of that structure? Well, it's possible. You have one, you have two, you have three. They can go out of the structure. They can also consolidate here and then drop. I'm not expecting them to consolidate there and drop because we barely broke the low. Unless this small one takes off more deeper down, right? So unless this, instead of being a correction here, drop. So can you sell it? Let's go look at whether you can sell that. Take this off. That's a break-even trade. Well, you probably got small profit if you want. It didn't go anywhere. We have this channel here. I'm going to take out these flats and put the channel. Every time you get, there's two things you're looking for. This whole thing here is either running flat and we're going to go up, or we are trying to go down. Now, this is one sharp piece, so I don't think that it's going to totally go down on its own. Most likely, if you come down, it will come down as a correction here. Go back up there, then go down. So the correction to the downside will not give you a good trade. It might give you a break-even trade, right? What you can look for, wait for this to break out, make a flag, sell the flag. If you're lucky, they drop. If you're unlucky, they start to do this. You get break-even, and we look for the buy setup. This will give us this trade to the upside. See? So we'll look for the buy setup. Can we buy this if this continues to go and it's a running flat? Yeah, you can buy. We have a strategy how to buy it. I don't think I want to put that out here right now because that could be dangerous if you don't know how to manage it. But it could be a buy. Right now, it doesn't look like a buy. So we'll wait and see which one it gives us. New Zealand. New Zealand is an easy one. You've got a sharp move and you're consolidating. So this is an easy buy. Buy the New Zealand. Ignore the Aussie. Right? How far would this go? Let's go look at a bigger picture. Right? Well, it can go quite a while because this turned out to be a contracting flat. Last week we said it could either be a running flat or a contracting flat. It turns out a contracting flat because they went higher. They break through this pattern. We're looking at it this way. We're looking at it either a contracting flat or this is a running flat. Once they break out, the rule is you break out, you consolidate, you're going up. So we broke out and we're consolidating. We will go with the contracting flat. This is the low and we're going up. See? So what you're looking for now here, look for this breakout. How far this is going to go, I have no idea. So let's look at it this way. We have one, we have two, we have three. Do we have divergence? No, we don't. So this could either be the start of a bigger correction, like this one here. See that one up there, come down here, go back there, then fall. So they could do this, come back here, go there, and drop. If we do this, this will probably take the whole of this week. Then next week we'll get that trade. Well, we can trade it up here today, we can trade it down, and we can trade it back up. And then next week we get that big move down, right? That is one option. The second option is, well, they're totally going up. We're not expecting them to go up, but they can go. So we're going to buy this today, and then we'll track how it develops. Which one out of those two options we're going to get, the total upside, or we're going to get a bigger flat forming here. But it is a buy setup right now. So you would have to manage that trade because it may or may not go very far because of the two possibilities that exist right now. CAD came to the top. We told you about trading this thing back to the top, and then that is where we would watch it. So when it was here, we traded back to the top, and now you have to be careful. Put an entry order here. If CAD breaks out, you want the trade. It could go really fast, or it might just tag you and come back down. You can manage your way out of that. If it tags you, come back down. If it come back down, it's hardly going to leave there with it with a fast move down because look how much time they come back down here. See, before you get this, look at this one, right? Before you get this. So it's going to probably stay here for a while before it does that. You can make that assumption looking at the past too, right? So the buy is a good one. You will get out to break even most likely. So right now, an entry order here for a buy is a trade you want to put on. And you might want to put on that right now. If you're looking at this, by the time you see this webinar, it might be gone. For my traders, that is something we should put on immediately. If this is a running flat, we're totally going out. And it could be a running flat. You have one, two, three, you have one down, and that's a running flat. So this could just take off like a rocket. By the way, do I have it on? Let me see. No. So give me 1 second to put that trade on in the middle of the webinar. Sorry about that, but this is a trade I want if they go. So you guys don't mind, I'll just put it on very quick. 126, but wrong pair. I have to go find the right pair. I had another pair on there. So, yep, 126.35. And the stop would be as usual under the on the hair. That's where we'll put the stop, and we'll go with that, right? Yep, let's go. Let's continue. Sorry about that. Swiss. Swiss broke out of this correction. We saw that. It made a flat, and then they're pulling back. So where are we? Well, here's the big picture. I want you guys to go back and, well, if you were watching my videos, if you're new to YouTube and you don't know what we do and why we look at wave analysis and how these patterns work, we were somewhere in here when we were saying, you know, we expect this thing to happen. Somewhere, and then it came a little lower, and I told you it will happen. Well, here is it. Now the question is that all of it? Are we going down now? Or will this continue to go some more? Because it can go more. But that sharp wave is a clue that you're going to get another sharp wave sometime in the future. Very often, that once that big running flat is finished, you will retest the low. Now, here is a clue why the dollar index might go back down lower. They're telling us that this pattern behaves this way and go back, make a new low. 99% of patterns that make running flats do this. Maybe 1%, or let's say 98, maybe 2% of them don't do that. We just saw the gold didn't do that because we got it one wrong. So is this going to do what the gold did, or is this going to do what all the other ones does? Well, if let's give it 95% if you want. If 95% of them do that, what are the chances this one is going to be in that 95%? So if it is, then dollar index will probably go down. It's not because this is going to move the dollar index down, but there's a number of them, and that is what constitutes the dollar index. There's a number of them with patterns like this that tell us, hey, this thing could come back here because this is a known pattern. We knew this was going to go back up for this one, right? And it did it because that's how these patterns behave. So now what are the chances they're going to go down if they did the up move? Keep your eyes at the turning point here. Let's see if we have a turning point. We have divergence. That is a good sign. We have divergence on this piece. That is another good sign. And we want to see an impulse and a correction. Well, we've got an impulse. You've got an impulse to the downside. That might be not all because this is going up really fast too. So can we make a new high and then start it? It's possible. Like I said, they can still go some more. You can either look at this piece as part of the down move because that one is higher. So this could be part of this move here with a final impulse outcome. Let's see if we get a consolidation here. If we get this here today, that's a perfect sell setup. If they go higher, if this becomes more of a flag, if this here becomes more of a flag, then you want it to come back to the top, come here, and then that's a buy setup. So right now we just wait. Just wait and see which one they give us. Yen. Yen has one more up. There's no question. You're getting a perfect flag for a buy. Remember this last week? It's going to tell us whether they'll give us one more down or whether they're going up. Well, if you got the buy, you did well. Some of my traders got it. Here's your buy setup. That's a perfect buy setup for one more, or it might go very slow all the way to the top here. But by the time they get to the top there, they will tell us whether we're going to have one more down from this one or whether we're going to continue to go. Now, yen does not have to do what the dollar index is doing, which means yen might not be doing what Swiss is doing, what the other trades are doing, because yen is in a trending mode right now. This is a big correction. And this thing, it could come back here, make a new low, and then go back there. That is possible. If it's a dollar movement, if it's influenced mostly by the dollar index, then yes, that is possible, which means it is going to be part of what the dollar changes, right? Dollar changes, this comes down, Swiss comes down, CAD goes down once more before the bigger move to the upside, right? Or this continues to go. Regardless of whether the Swiss goes down, CAD goes down, everything else goes matter. This just continues to go. And if that continues to go, pay attention to all the yen pairs. But there is a move up right now. And this move will finish this week. I think they will do it very fast. And from that point, they will tell us whether we get a downside or whether we're going to continue to go up. So there's a buy setup, and it's a very decent, very nice buy setup, very simple, not complex. You can see this morning I saw that sell setup there, but not interested because I don't think it's going to go very far. I looked at one, I look at two, I look at three. I'm looking for a buy setup. Let's see if we get the buy. All right, so we're looking for the buy setup, and hopefully it will bring you all the way to the top here. And hopefully that happens today, maybe tomorrow. Aussie yen. Yep. Remember we looked at this big flat, and here is another running flat. Yeah, just to remind you, they're the most common patterns, and we see them like a crystal ball. We see them very clearly. You don't see them as clearly as we do. We saw this, told you this is going to come back, it came back. The magic worked, now what? Upside. This already moved away from that, so I don't think it's a correction. It's just a big flat at the bottom there. We just need to clear this area, make a flag here now, and then you can buy your way to the top. So this is making a flag for you. You're getting a correction there for upside. Actually, you already have a small correction. It's a small running flat, and you're looking for that trade up. What if it comes lower? Again, it's not your problem. You're not looking to sell into this pattern. You're looking to buy into it. If it comes lower, we'll relook at it and we'll decide what is the trade next. What is the next trade in it? But right now, the next trade is to the upside. And so is the New Zealand yen. See, I already have that waiting for that buy setup. I will give you an update on this later on. Remember, I told you this would be a flat 1, 2, 3. It just needs to break that low. That's the minimum requirement for a flat. But it could go lower, and then it's going to go up, go and break the top. So that's an up move coming there. Hopefully, it gets all the way to that 270. So we're hoping for this. This is a trade today. We'll be looking for a buy setup. Can it go a little lower? Can it even come back and break this? Oh, yes, but we don't have a sell setup there. If that is going to happen, we'll look at the structure as it develops. Right now, it's a buy setup. Canadian, this one might not be a buy setup. Look at this. See, this one is coming back lower. This one is changing structure. Right? This one is telling us, wait a second, it's going up, but it's not going as aggressive as we would like. See, they're pulling back, pulling back, pulling back, pulling back. And if you get all of this here, the chances are you make a new low before you go. Chances are this would make a new low. So if you look at the bigger one we're looking at, is whether this was a running flat. If that gets bigger, then this running flat goes off the trade. Right? We'll definitely not be looking at it as a running flat of this. As it stands right here, each one of these are either standalone correction or they're making a bigger one. With this piece looking like that, there's a chance they're going to come lower here once more and then go up. Right? The upside is still very possible. We haven't negated the upside because it's a good one. This piece doesn't look like it's going right now. So let's see in the 1 hour, what do we have? It could still go. They could still look at this piece and they could still go, but it's going very slow. You've got a flat here, you've got a sharp one here. This could be part matching this one. So if that's a big running flat, it could still go. Wait for this to break out to confirm if you're going to get an up move. It's not the best one to trade. It doesn't have the best up structure. See, if you're going to break out of this, that's a buy. But like I said, the way they're going with all these pullback, you rather trade something else. Trade the Aussie yen. That's a better one to go up. Swiss yen, another one that is not very confirming, not very much going up strong, because this looks like it's coming here. This was a strong move down. This is a strong move. Will probably be here for a while. So ignore the buy in this. Not that you want to sell it, but ignore the buy. If we're going to sell it, let them make a complete flat pattern here. If we get this, then we'd look for a sell, one more down, and maybe then up. Right now, it doesn't have that structure. Aussie Swiss. Okay, this one is doing exactly like we wanted it to do. So now we can confirm that this one is actually this one. That's the flat. And we are going up like this, which is what we expect. You're getting a consolidation here. This is perfect. You get one more move up. Now, if it's going to go slow, see, this one had a number of consolidations. You had one, then you had a bigger correction, then you go. So this might come here, go up, make a bigger one, and then continue there. But then you're going to go down again. So you can look for buy setups here. Hope for if you get in the buy that they actually go really fast, break the top and then downside, because we need one more up and we need one more down. We need this to go up and then we need this to come down, and then you have a big long-term buy setup. Once this is finished, you're looking for a buy setup. That's a running flat, by the way. See, Once we complete this big running, what's wrong with this? Once we complete this move here and this move here, we're expecting that to go. This would be your big running flat. See, we had one like that previously, I think so. Running flat, no, not like that, but we had a number of running flats. We had a different version of a running flat here, and we're getting one of the simpler running flats here. So look for buy setups. You're actually getting a buy setup right now. This has to come down a little more here, and then you'll get a perfect setup for a buy. Aussie CAD. Wait for a flag and then buy. It's going up, but the sharp move up doesn't mean anything. Yes, we had this sharp move up here, and there's a good chance you might be looking at a running flat. So I will not be buying until we get a flag here. Confirm that you get more upside, and we'll not be selling until it drops and make a flag either. So just leave this alone. That'll take hours to happen. Okay, this one is going up, but really slow. You're getting another flat here. This is not going to go so fast. You're getting another flat here. And this is probably going to crawl up again. It will break this top, but it's going to crawl up, so just leave it. EuroCAD. Okay, EuroCAD is making a big flat, so we got this up slowly, we got this down slowly, and we're getting one up here probably slowly. We're going to get a number of flats going up here, and then we'll get a big flat here. If you get a big flat there, then you're going to make one more move down. At least one more move down, right? So you can see the correction already happening, which means you got to come back to this top there, and then you can do one more move down, and then from this point you could go up. Right, we're already having divergence and weakness, so this will probably just stay right where it is for this entire week. Euro New Zealand, well, this point we were expecting either one more up or total downside. Either would work, right? Either they give us one more up to match this one, or they come down from this point and we will go with 1, 2, 3, make a new low. They could still go back up and then come down, right? Or we go up today, make that one, and then start a bigger move down. So let's see which one we have and which one is more likely to happen. Right now you've got this flat. We thought we would make 1, 2, 3 and go up. Well, they didn't do that, and they're consolidating here. If they consolidate here today, if this consolidation stays here, it's a drop. That's a sell setup. So we can probably look for a sell if that happens. Euro yen, also expecting this to go up, and I think it can still go. We're getting a flat here. You can see this flat here, kind of a small one, so I think we should look for the upside and ensure it to buy above the top there. Makes sense. You already have one. You already had one of that flat here. You had a smaller one here, a bigger one there, sorry, and you're getting a smaller one here. So that's a buy setup. If it goes up, great. If it comes down, ignore it. You don't need to sell. Let's go. Euro Swiss. Okay, this is coming down more. Take that off. We're looking for a buy above that. Came deeper. What is the big pattern? You're probably going to come back down here. You've got this up. You got this down. You got this up. You're probably coming back to this level. And if we look at that as a flat, then very likely we're going to come lower. So let's see what the big picture is telling us. It's just telling us a bigger correction. That's all. You're getting a bigger flat in the middle here after this one. You've got that, and you're getting a bigger flat here. Probably get another one like this down here, and then the upside. Just a bigger correction. So look for sell setups. Let's see if we have any sell setups forming. Not as yet, but if this comes here and consolidate in this zone, if you get a consolidation there, that's a sell. So let's see if we get the consolidation. I don't think you have any buy setups in it. Euro Oz. Okay, we wanted this to go and break the top. That would have completed the pattern here, right? But it didn't break the top. We stopped short and they're coming down, which is not a good sign. Because then in that case, we'll have to relook at this pattern. Take this out. The internal patterns, which is we're still in a consolidation, but we might have to look back to see whether this is an expanding flat. Whether that runs as an expanding flat. Right, because if this now turns out to be more of an expanding flat for there, then we're going to get one more down here, very likely a little more down, and we will still go there before we go down. Right, all you're going to have is a bigger flat in here. 1, 2, 3. Then you get 1, 2, 3, and then you go down. So I think right now it's more likely that is what is happening. Instead of this finishing the move here, you're getting an expanding flat. Let's see. We'll just wait and see. If you get sell setups here, it will be very short term. Right? If you get any sell setup, it's probably gonna, they don't even have to break that low. They just have to make something like this downwards. And you're already halfway, 3/4 way of that. Just a little more here, and then they can go up. So this might be some kind of that expanding flat in the middle there. We'll see. Keep your eyes on it. It needs to break this low. And it's about to do that already. To be a regular flat, right? Yep, just break that low. And it's a regular flat. That is a 1, 2, 3. That's a regular flat for upside. It can go lower, but that's the minimum requirement we'll be looking for. So let's see if that happens. It's going down already. Europound. Yep, Europound came down as expected, and you can actually look for a buy setup here. If you get that buy setup, they'll come back to this stop, right? And then we can expect one more down before it goes. Because this looks like a flat pattern in here. And that needs to go back up and then come back down and then go up. When that big flat is completed, we'll probably get one more move down, right? Once they go back up here and come back down here and then do this, we should get one more move down. That is going to be a big running flat, maybe somewhere here. They don't have to break the top. So we can look for a buy setup today if we get it. Kind of consolidating at the top here, so you could look for a buy setup above this. Can it go one more lower? Well, I'm not interested in the sell, and I don't think the sell here is a good idea. But if they go up from here, the buy is a good idea, right? If this comes here and then go back up, the buy is a good idea. Pound New Zealand, look for a buy setup. It's still a buy setup. They can come a little more. I could see this probably even doing this and come back here. Right, even coming down slowly like this, but that's a buy setup. At least one more impulse to the upside you're going to get. We bought that last week, but I hope my traders got it for break even, because it did give break even. We had it for 1, 2, 3, 4 hours there. That's a break even trade. It didn't go, right? So we're going to look for the breakout again today. Now you would have to wait for a flag, because this is not a flag. This is a correction of its own. Pangos, a little more down. We're expecting this to come all the way down to the bottom here right now. Come back down, but let's see. This looks like a correction that might drop slowly. There is a one chance they can break that top and then come back. There's a chance for that. This could be a flat where they break the top slightly and come back. That will not change the structure, to just make the pattern a little bigger, so they can do this, break this top, and then come back. So you'd have to make a choice if you want that buy setup. I don't really like it. So the buy is not a great idea. The downside is a better idea. Punkat, yep, it's going up a little more, and that is okay. They can come all the way to there. This is going up some more, but we're looking for the sell. One sell is going to happen here. Let me just show you this. This will come and break the low. So let this go up a little more, make a bigger flat pattern, and then we're looking for this straight down. That might happen tomorrow. Today was unlikely. It will have to come down, make a flag, and then we'll get this straight here before we go back up. Right? These patterns have been working perfect. The up move, the down move, and then the up move again. All of that we had. If you're following us, we had this down move, that up move, this down move, that up move. All of that were already there. Go back, look at the past webinars, you will see them. Right? So this will come down. I don't think this is going up from here. That is way too short. It has to come a little more down. From that point, let's look at it again. It's way too short. We're looking for this move down, right? So that piece is too short. We're just making a bigger correction in here, I think. We'll keep an eye on it. Pang Yen, you've got a running flat. Perfect. You're getting a correction. Perfect. Look for that up move. We're going to expect them to come to this level, make a bigger daily flat, and then you can start to look for downside. Right, there's a good chance that we will get to this level and then come down, because this will be the bigger running flat here. Maybe expanding if they break the top. And that's a big sideways move that should go down after that. So let's keep an eye on it. Look for a short-term buy setup here. You're already getting a flat for a buy. There's a small correction there for a buy setup. On Swiss, let's see. It broke out, but I'm not sure that is the upside as yet. If this correction break to the upside, you can buy it, but we still have this sharp move here that is not accounted for. So at some point, even if you get this, they can drop back to this level to complete this one and then go. So if you're going to get a buy setup here, be careful. I just be careful of it. That this is likely going to happen. You've seen that happen in a number I just showed you in the pound yen. It happened, so it likely could happen here. Be careful of that. New Zealand Swiss, we're going up. Look for buy setups in this piece. You want this move up, and then we're on the move down. So let's see. Short term, it looks like a consolidation is happening here for downside. This piece here, but this is very short term. Probably do that and then go. Look for the bigger trade to the upside. Okay, my son just woke up and he's knocking at the window. Yes, let's go. It's early here. It's only 7:44. Yep, New Zealand CAD. This one is going up, but it's going up really slow. Let's see what we're getting here. As I look at a bigger picture, see where we think it could likely go. It likely could go up. Yes, this could be the running flat. Right, with a 1, 2, 3, you got a number of corrections in here, you got a correction there, and then you got these two sharp moves. Then there's a likelihood it could continue to go back up. Let's see if we have a buy setup. Not as yet. It's not going up very aggressively, right? There are a lot of pullback in it. But what I would do is let this take off a little and make a flag here. And then the buy setup becomes very interesting. So there's the good buy setup as you stand right now. And CAD Swiss. Let's see what the CAD Swiss has for us. Okay, we broke the top. Let's see. We had this. We broke the top. And they didn't go far. We have divergence. Let this come down here, make a flag, and then we look for a sell. I'm not looking for a buy at the top there. If I get a flag here today, we'll sell it. We don't have a flag on it as yet. You have to let that confirm, make something like this, and then you can sell it. But at the break even, if they go back up, if this becomes a bigger correction, which means if they come like this, do this, and I sell it, and it does that to go back up, we'll get break even, and then we would look for the buy setup. If it drops through, that's the one I'm looking for, right? Keep your eyes on these trades. So what I'll do is I'll close this webinar here for the Forex part. Later today, I will do the maybe in an hour or two time, I'll do the stocks and the cryptos part. I'll probably add one more crypto. I'll check to see which one is most popular on the last video, and add that one onto it, and then we'll do those two. So look forward to those if you're the crypto or you're the stock person, stock indexes, and so. This should be out very soon, and I will see all of you. For our traders, I'll still be in the trading room. I'll just stop the recording and be in the trading room. The rest of you have a great week ahead of you, and I'll see you maybe on Wednesday. I'll give you another update. Take care, trade with care. Remember, you can still get all of these webinars on a daily basis if you want them. You know how to do that. Thank you. Have a great day. Please share it. Bye.